Greetings all. Hope you all having a good day today. Today I'd like to talk about feral cats in Hawaii. Right off, we have a problem here with the feral cat and the Hawaiian monk seal. Hawaiian monk seal is an endangered species. I believe there's only about 1,400 of them on Earth. And the feral cats loose on this island carry a disease, a parasite known as toxoplasmosis. Going back to 2018, it was discovered that we had 3 Hawaiian monk seals here on Oahu that had died of this parasite. Later on in 2020, 2 more were discovered. So far, I believe there's been a total of 5 of the Hawaiian monk seals have died from this parasite that cats carry. Humans can also carry this parasite too, by the way. And you can get it easily from cat feces. As the main issue here, and that's how it's transmitted mostly. Of course, the Hawaiian monk seal, this is the only place it lives. There aren't very many of them, and so we need to do what we can to make sure that they can continue living on here. They're important. On the other hand, I don't believe historically that Polynesians brought cats with them. I know they brought their dogs, their pigs, chickens, and a lot of other things in those canoes, but I don't think they brought cats. They did bring rats. It wasn't intentional, I don't think. You know how it is with rats. But I'm positive by the time Captain Cook got here, Captain Cook's ship cats smelled all the rats on the Hawaiian Islands. Boy, I'll bet you they jumped ship. And so we can figure that some of the earliest cats that got here, that's where they came from. The problem isn't so much, in my opinion, cats, as it is feral cats. The domestic feline has been with human beings for thousands of years. At least we can trace the lineage back to ancient Egypt. Cats were important to the Egyptians, and so they've been with us for a long, long, long time. But as domesticated animals, now my experience with cats is there is definitely a question as to whether cats domesticated humans or humans domesticated cats. I think it's a little bit of both. In my case, that's definitely true. So the cats are here. The cats are going to stay. They aren't going away. Okay. There are people that love these animals. Okay. And, I don't blame them. They're companions. But as for me personally, okay, I have had cats around my presence off and on throughout my life. They were generally somebody else's cat. Somebody else who lived with me wanted cats, and they'd have cats. And I didn't argue with them. And so I'd live with cats. They're all right. But as a gardener, oh boy, I mean, it's a total love-hate relationship with me and cats and the garden, because, cats are drawn to compost and loose soil, and the first thing they want to do is go out there and dig a hole and take a dump. Right on top of my vegetable seeds, or right next to my food. It's pretty disgusting. I don't like it at all. Now, when it comes to, quote-unquote, my cats, the cats that have been around my space, they learn. Okay, they either learn the easy way by just finding their litter box and sticking to it, or they learn the hard way. I remember planting elephant garlic one time in northern Wisconsin when it was a brand new crop, hard to get, and I had just finished putting things together and went in the house to get something, came back out, and here's my great big giant orange tomcat out there. He's squatting on top of my garlic. He says, "Oh man, Bill prepared this soil for me perfect." Yeah, well, Cat had the first opportunity to actually pass a bowel movement 6 feet in the air after he met my combat boot. He learned. He didn't try pooping in my garden anymore. He figured I was not safe. Yeah, and so litter box is a big issue here. You know, this problem is cat feces, and especially cat feces near the shorelines of the islands. And I know on the dry side of these islands, every time I'm traveling over there, I will find massive amounts of feral cats that people are protecting. Well, it doesn't please me. But in my opinion, the solution to Hawaii's feral cat problem is to domesticate the cats. I mean, what else are you going to do? Are you going to come in here with an animal that has been around humans for thousands of years and just start euthanizing, gassing all the cats? It's really, I don't think it's the right solution, personally. What we need is cat control. Cats are domestic animals. They're not really wild animals, and so they need people. And so if they have people, well, people can do a lot of things. They can do disease control and parasite control with their cats. They can give their cats litter boxes, and they can control what happens with the contents so it doesn't wash into the beaches and the oceans for the seals. Yeah, we can also, and most importantly, if we allow the feral cats to come into our domestic situations, we can spay and neuter them. And that way they're not going to breed uncontrollably. This is the main problem, that they're just loose and they're breeding, and they more and more and more of them all the time. And so we need to domesticate our domestic cats here in Hawaii, I think, is the real solution to the problem. Because I don't think euthanizing all the cats on the island is the solution, frankly. Now, again, I am not a cat lover. Get it straight. I'm not even a pet guy. Yeah, ever since I was a boy, I had pets as a boy. But later on, all that moved over to be domesticated livestock, and my relationship with the animals changed, because I was probably eating them for dinner. And so, I haven't really had pets around for years, many years. Well, ever since Gracie showed up here in May, and she's gotten into the video camera occasionally, I've been taking flack from people out there that say, "Oh, you're a bad man. Oh, you have a cat. Oh, bad. You should get rid of that cat. They're bad." I've heard this, and, well, I don't appreciate it. It is my cat, but I don't appreciate it at all. I'm a responsible human being. I'm quite intelligent. I understand the situation very well. And the one thing I never do is I get in front of this camera all the time and I tell you folks what it is that I do. Okay? But I never tell you what you should do. If you like what I'm doing, fine, pick up on it. If you need further suggestions, I'll be glad to illuminate. But I don't tell you what to do. Yeah, and I really don't appreciate it when I get other people that are so darn high and mighty that they think it's okay to come in and tell me what I'm doing wrong and what I should be doing. Yeah, well, I don't put up with that. For starters, I don't like people who complain about stuff. There's way too many complainers out there today. Everybody's unhappy about everything. That's what I got to say to the rest of you, as far as that's concerned. Get a life. People who want to criticize others should really have a good look at their house and see if it's made out of glass before they start throwing stones around at other people's houses. Because, what is that, oh, he was free of sin. Yeah, you're all guilty. There's not a single one of us out there that's a perfect person who does everything right. And if we think we do, we're probably psychotic. So I don't enjoy being criticized by other human beings who have faults of their own that they're not looking at. Go look at your own problems. That's what I tell you. Go solve your stuff first. And then if you want to come over here and look at mine, you can look at it, and then you can leave. I got no use for that stuff. Here's the story of how this all happened. I mean, really, I said I am not a cat guy. And so anybody out there who says, oh, Bill's a cat guy, man. No. Happened because a few years back, this cat showed up over here, and I noticed it was very special. It hunted with a pattern, and it hunted with a pattern on a watch. That cat was exactly in the same position almost every day at almost the same time, going this way across the back of the landscape looking for mice, going that way looking for mice at 5:30, it's 6 o'clock over here going this way. I'm a guy who I think punctuality is a virtue. Okay, I'm always on time, blah, blah, blah. I run my life by schedules, okay? And so when I saw this cat, I went, hey, cat, you got some pretty good qualities for a cat. But I'm not a cat guy, So I didn't bother. I just let it hunt. One day it disappeared. Got into a tussle with another black cat, a territorial dispute. We drove it out of here. I was gone for a long time, and then back around, April or so, the cat came back. The black cat disappeared, and this cat went back hunting around the property. Well, I didn't bother it. You can hunt. There's rats here. Okay. Well, one night, Grace came to the door while we were eating dinner, and she was obviously starving to death, and came crying. Well, I told Ellen, you feed that cat, it's going to be a friend for life. And Ellen's a kind person, and she fed the cat. And the cat is her friend for life. Well, we later discovered the cat had had 2 kittens under our shed. And that's why it was starving, because there were no mice, there were no rats. I had done good control around here. The poor thing was trying to live on lizards and trying to nurse these kittens, which were already over large and did not need to be nursed. They were sucking her dry. Anyway, so we found homes for the kittens. Neighbor Gary's got the calico, the gray one, went to the shelter, we're no-kill shelter. And then Gracie went to the vet, and she got fixed. Okay, so there won't be any more kittens. We dealt with any health problems she had, and so, parasites, worms, fleas, and so on. Everything's been dealt with the cat. She is now very healthy, sterile, and she wears 3 bells around her neck to try to keep her from killing everything around here, because Gracie was a wildcat. She still is a half wildcat, and she is the most adorable killing machine you have ever run across. Yeah, she is one heck of a hunter. And to keep her from eating everything on the farm, I only want her to eat rats and mice. She's belled. We also feed her. And so, breeding has been controlled. Disease and parasites have been controlled. The cat is wearing bells to trigger for some of the birds and things around here. And she's being fed by us so that she's not excessively hungry. And so mostly she hunts just for sport these days. Yeah, and so, I had complaints. Oh, they eat all the native birds. Now, is that a load? Pardon me. Has anybody looked around? Has anybody seen a native bird in Hawaii lately? I live at 1,680 feet. There's only 3 native birds that I have ever seen at this elevation. The western sandpiper comes up here occasionally and looks for worms and things. Otherwise, we get the pueo, the Hawaiian owl, and I get the io, the Hawaiian hawk. And I'm telling you what, with the pueo and the Hawaiian hawk, man, there's no way Gracie wants to mess with those. Kinks will shred her. Okay, so she ain't hunting those native birds. Western sandpiper is very skittish and at a distance, and there's no way a cat can get near one of them either. They flush, and they're always out in open fields, so not possible. Most all native birds in the state of Hawaii are at 4,000 feet and up. Okay, the majority of them are honey creepers. They feed on nectar in the ohia trees. That's where most of their food comes from, unless you happen to be a nene and you're walking around eating ohelo berries. But the majority of those birds are all honey creepers. There's many different kinds, and they don't live down here. They live at 4,000 feet and up. So if you're in the town of Volcano, it's possible your cat could be a problem for a native bird. On the other hand, I photograph birds periodically. And man, getting a photograph of any one of the honey creepers is hard. They're in the treetops, feeding on nectar on the ohia trees, and they move rapidly. They flit from one branch to the other to the other. They are not in a space where a domestic cat can get at a honey creeper under almost all circumstances. And so the comment that the cats kill native birds is absolute garbage. Person hasn't paid any attention to the fact that all the birds in their yard are non-native. A whole lot of the birds down at this lower elevation, aside from being non-native, are actually serious pests and invasive species. The myna pulled up all of my peas the other day. Love them, just love them. There you go, folks. There's Bill's comments on feral cats here in Hawaii. Domesticate them. That's my solution. And stay off of my back about the fact that this cat walked in here one day and we decided to take care of it. We did a good thing, not a bad thing. Yeah. Aloha.